It is Thursdays with Jan. So this week's topic is names, which is really good because I need some freaking name advice, like ASAP. And sorry I have to talk quietly, because my videos should actually be called Middle of the Night Wednesdays with Jan, because that's when I get home and my whole house is asleep. So, um, anyway. um, yeah, names. Okay, I'm back. Was gonna try to do this without writing anything down, fail. I had too many things to say that were way out of order. Okay, so names, I made a video on my personal, is this even recording? Yes, okay. Alright. I made a video on my personal channel about a Texas trip that I took, and I had so much shit with my ID, which I haven't changed since I was 16. So not only does the photograph look absolutely nothing like me, but my given full name is on there, which is, are you ready? It's pretty out of control. Yanina Alexandrovna Krymskaya. Like 20,000 syllables. Do I look like a 20,000 syllable kind of person? I don't think so. I don't feel like a 20,000 syllable kind of person. Anyway, so my given nickname has always been Yana. That's what people have called me my entire life. I've never gone by Yanina. Nobody has ever called me that, except for one time when I was like probably like 7 years old, and all of a sudden I started writing really lightly and signing my name Yanina. What the hell I was going, or my little 7-year-old brain was going through, I don't know. It's beyond me now to try to even figure it out, but that lasted for maybe a week, and that was the only time I've ever used Yanina. So, let's see here, Yana, da-da-da-da. I started using Jan, or introducing myself as Jan, this summer. Like, I don't know, I've convinced myself that Yana can be gender neutral. Like, I've met Yamas before who were male, and all kinds of weird names that rhyme with Yana. But I think it was really, like, when I would tell people that I was trans, it was really difficult for them to conceptualize the whole thing when I was still going by Yana, for those people who saw it as a really feminine name. So I kind of made it a little easier on the people around me, and also, like, people just felt, at school, some people felt more comfortable calling me on, like, I had 2 teachers start calling me on their own, like, even this term, an instructor of mine who I've known for a while, when he was taking roll on the first day, and he looked at my full name, and he was like, do you go by Yana or Jan? And I was like, well, either way, and he was like, I'm gonna call you Jan. It'll be a different ring. I was like, okay, that's fine. In writing emails, I've been signing Jan for a really long time. So yeah, I don't mind Yana. I think it's one of those things where, like, as I transition more, I'll probably start using it more. I don't know. I started like oh yeah, and for full name, I did want to keep a full name, and I started at one point a shared Google Doc and, like, invited all of my friends, and it was basically just word pool or letter pool, and I wanted to keep the root Jan, We came up with some crazy stuff. I think one of the recommendations was like Yansan and like Jordan. Some of them were really out of control, like Jan Zibrianov or something. Um, anyway, so I think like the combination of Jan and Jan is fine. And that might actually be a full name that I use every once in a while. Like I'm kind of testing it out now. It seems to be fine. It's better than Yanina. Where was I going to go? Oh yeah. So my dilemma. This is my freaking dilemma, and I'm having this dilemma now or it seems more urgent now because I realize that this winter break is probably the only time I'm gonna have to really change my ID. It expires in 2011, so I want to change it, but if I'm gonna change it, I might as well change my name too. I'm not gonna try to do this twice. So, my dilemma is with my last name and my middle name, which isn't on. Oh, wow, the screen disappeared completely. Okay, last name and middle name is not on middle name is not on my ID at all. It's on my birth certificate. And so where that came from is in Russian you take your dad's last name, and my dad's name is Alex or Alexander, and you add a gendered ending to it, and that becomes your middle name. So instead of just giving me a really plain middle name like Alex, I got Alexandrovna, which is the gendered ending, Ovna. And then my last name also is gendered. Nobody in my family has the same last name. Like, my mom kept hers, my dad is Kramskoy, I'm Kramskaya, and my brother is Kramsky. And the reason for that is because the origin of the last name is Kramsky, and that's a Polish last name, but when it was adopted by the Russians, they gender last names, so my dad's became Kramskoy, and I was born, mine became Kramskaya. So, when was this? A week or two ago, and my brother changed his last name later, and he made it Kremsky. And so, a few weeks ago, I was driving with my dad, and out of nowhere, he brought stuff completely on his own, had nothing to do with gender. And he was like telling me the history of this last name, and he was like, well, your last name is actually Kramsky, so you should just go change it. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll think about it. And I had been thinking about it for a while, because, I don't think I'm going to be living in Eastern Europe any time that I could imagine. I like the West Coast, and nobody here knows that. Unless it's like someone from the same place, and the people I interact with who might be Russian would probably be fairly progressive. They would probably be the only people to know that Krymskaya is gendered. So at this point, I'm just trying to decide if I like how Kremsky sounds or Krymskaya. And it would be like Yanin Kramsky or Yanin Krymskaya. Or if I included a middle name, which I would shorten to either Alex, and I've been kind of playing with Alexa also, because I guess with the first name and last name, that sounds a little more masculine. I feel like something might need to be thrown into the mix that's a little more feminine, so like Yanin Alexa Kramsky or just Alex. I don't know. I need your advice. Give me some advice. Yeah, this winter break, I want to change my ID, and I don't think I'm going to have very many breaks after this or before I graduate, and I don't want to have to deal with this when I'm applying for work. So let's see. Dilemma, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Gender marker. I'm not in a rush to change my gender marker. I feel like that I could hold off on, and then once I have a new ID with a new photo and a name that sounds more like me, and people are able to pronounce, not that, I actually don't think I'm making it much easier on anyone. Yeah, I'll see how that goes, and then I'll think about the gender marker. Because at this point, like, if I've had any run-ins with, I think I've had like one run-in with the cops because one of my lights wasn't working, and they just looked at my ID, and before they even saw the photo, they were like, "I'm not even gonna try to pronounce your name," and it's like, don't. Okay, I think I covered all of the questions. Yeah. Okay. Hope everyone's doing well. Hello to everyone on the channel who's new, and I'm excited to see your videos. Have a good night.